Well, well, well.
Hmm.
As a wise man once said, good morning. we we don't normally get to say that, you guys, but good morning. And I'm gonna put this out there right now, just so we have some planning purposes in place for next week. We are gonna run it back to back. We are going live on Christmas Eve. I know you wondered it. I know
Oh,
you're
you
like,
were wondering.
can they keep this streak of 120 episodes in a row alive? Well, the answer is yes. Even on Christmas Eve, we're going to be live at this same exact time next week, 10 a.m. If you don't have work that day and want to join us for a little bit of eggnog in the morning, we would love to. If you want to catch the replay later on for a little Christmas Eve entertainment, we would love that as well. We do encourage you guys to get involved with the comments, whether it's live or after the fact. So Christmas Eve, 10 a.m. Eastern, we will be here, and I'd imagine we're going to be festive and have a great time, and this is going to be an amazing day, you guys. My name is Dan C. Bearded. I'm the co-host, proudly, of this show that is titled Doctor's Orders, and you might ask yourself, 120, that's like a lot. That's like more than 2 years in a row. Like, surely you've had other hosts and subs, and no. Both of these men right here, every single week. We're here for you guys, and we appreciate you guys being here as well. If you could, on your way in, just see if you remembered, hit the thumbs up. If you want to share this out with some friends, I promise we're going to talk about some random stuff that would entertain anybody. And also, got to talk about this guy over here. I said, hey, man, you didn't have to bust out the flannel on me. You didn't have to bring all this on the screen here and showing. And then, oh, man, the mustache. We got some questions for this
Pinky's
man
up.
here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We may have some new ink to be able to talk about that we haven't even referenced yet. Yeah. And we got some stuff. So if we could, you see the company name, Dr. Nick's. Well, this is the doctor himself. Mr. Nick, how are you doing on this Tuesday morning?
Dude, fantastic, man. Honestly, it's a weird ass day.
Okay.
It is. It's a weird time for the stream. It's been a weird, but you know what though? It's actually on par for the day. Like everything today just seems different. I woke up and like literally, it's like I woke up on the other side of the sheets. It was like I was like, you remember like Nickelodeon's Upside Down Boy or Inside Out Boy? Remember
Inside
that?
Out Boy, yeah.
Inside Out Boy. I woke up like Inside Out Boy today. I don't know. No, but I don't know, man. I'm just sitting here killing it, being the Colonel Sanders of awesome that I am, slinging it around everywhere I can.
Oh,
but it's like, it's going good. We got some bottling happening in the shop today.
Ooh,
we got some creative stuff happening at home today. We got final Christmas prep. We're on the final approach. It's looking good.
Nice.
And everything's just kind of on cruise control. And it, like I say, it feels like it. Like my head inside feels like the weather outside, which is like weird and misty and a little breezy.
We've had pure mist for about 3 days. Like you can't look at the sun without like seeing like a filter over it. It's just been like everything has melted and it's evaporating and it's just kind of suspended in the air.
Same here. It's weird. We're getting like North Carolina weather here randomly in December. This is like North Carolina December is what we're having here. It's like 58 degrees outside today in misty.
Yep.
But no, it's doing good.
Okay. I'm okay with that because immediately after this stream, you guys, when I say immediately, I'm out of here. I'm driving 4 hours to Columbus, which in December, what is today? The 17th, traditionally driving 4 hours from Michigan to Ohio in the middle of December can be a little treacherous, right? That's a gamble. But today it's going to be like 48 and no snow in sight. And so golden. And I haven't even shared this literally anywhere else. I've given a little bit of breadcrumbs, but essentially today's a huge day for Maddox. He was one of the few kids in the entire world that was invited to try out for this Columbus Crew prestigious Futures Academy. And will that require, if he makes it, us for about 6 weekends in a row going down to Columbus and stuff? Yes. But We told him if he has goals and dreams and we have the ability, we'll do whatever we can to help him reach that. And this is like literally step one of his big goals and dreams. And if he goes and crushes it today, it could be a really, really big deal for him. So
If he
if you
goes and
guys,
crushes it, I love it.
yeah,
I mean, it's like just like if he tones it down enough to not show everyone else up too bad is what's gonna get him in. They're like, just make sure he's not, let's make sure he's not too much better than everybody else.
Yeah, so I'm excited, man, and we're going down to the historic Crew Stadium, the first ever built professional stadium in the U.S. It's ran by a former MLS All-Star and captain and one of the best players in of his time, and so it's a huge, huge deal. But he's pumped, he's ready, and I'm gonna go grab him from school immediately after this. Just me and him driving, talking, and getting it all going, and then we drive back tonight so he can go to school tomorrow. So it's a day, but I'm very, very, very excited, and I do appreciate the weather behaving for us. So
Dude, that's
good.
it. Take it, man.
Yep.
It's weird. This weather's weird though. Yesterday I was wearing like a down, -10 capable jacket, freezing my ass off walking around. And today I walk out. Of course, I'll have you know that this is a fleece flannel, not just a regular flannel.
Oh, really?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. It's even got pockets.
Dang.
Anyway, like hoodie pockets. Like,
oh wow.
Come on now.
Same material on the inside?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like the jackety one. It's not like a windbreaker.
Okay.
No, but it's way too warm for today. So
it seems like that's what I was thinking. I'm like, you're sweating right now.
Oh, dude, I was misty like the weather outside. Like I was really glad when I found out that the building had actually maintained the temp from like overnight and was colder in the building than it was outside when I got here.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'll have everyone know that I'm a little uncomfortably warm today. That's fine. Everyone's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, with that, you guys, I also had a random thought. Me and Nick, we don't know what it's going to be, but we're pretty sure we're going to be famous one day. Just so you guys know, you might know some like famous people. And I think I found our route, Nick. When you said Inside Out Boy, and then you went on a string of poetic words put together, it was almost like song lyrics. And I don't think the band Fall Out Boy has as much traction anymore. But the band, we want to bring that back. And our band name is the Inside Out Boys.
I like it, where you kind of throw like the punk thing in there, where you have like the and the comma at the end.
Yep.
The blah blah blahs.
Yeah. Oh, have to.
Oh.
Inside Out Boys.
Oh, I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, and our first album, which is going to be Greatest Hits Volume 3, is really going to kill it. I mean, it's going to hit the world by storm. And I mean, any good breakout album should have a hint of sarcasm like that, I think.
Oh, for sure. And the lead single that we're going to launch with is Getting Cracker Nasty.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Now,
Getting cracker nasty with it.
I did a little snippet last night, but I feel like I have to snip it here for you. Have you by chance heard that I have a theme song?
So I have.
Mm.
So I'd love to debut a snippet here as well.
Let's do this. The Dancy Bearded theme song. This is real, and it'll be in better format by tomorrow for the record. Here we go, guys. Snippet exclusive for this stream. It's never been shared on social media. It's never been posted anywhere. This is for you guys. Oh yeah.
I love it.
First step, patience gonna take some time. Trim it up nicely, let it grow sublime. Oil it up, yo, keep it nice and neat. Join the brotherhood where the beards compete. We united in the beard brigade. Started this journey like a bold crusade. Community love, bind its tide. With Dancy's knowledge, we shine so bright. Combs and brushes keep the tangles at bay. Shape it like a champ every single day. Watch it flourish under Dan's wise hand. Strutting your beard game like you planned. Together we learn, go the extra mile. Dan CB, our guy, keeping it real. Every nook and cranny beard appeal. From passion to glory, we got your back. full beer journey, ain't no turning back. Put your doubts down, we're all in here. With Dan C leading, we conquer the year.
So I listen, when I had an inkling of what was coming with theme song, you led on that something was in the works.
Yeah.
Like you've mentioned it like twice.
Yeah. Yep.
I
Briefly.
thought we were talking like intro reel, like background
Right.
theme, like opening to like a video credit theme. I didn't know we were talking full tracked theme
Oh, yeah.
song here. Who's
And there-
responsible for that?
I can't disclose that yet, but
Okay,
it'll
you
happen
haven't put
soon.
it out there.
Yeah, it'll happen soon. And I got two songs that are similar but different vibes and beats and guitar solos and stuff.
That is fantastic.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Oh God, I love it. That
Yeah.
is freaking amazing.
And then Lazy Beard says, "Does the Doc get a theme song?" Hey, just let me say things are in the works. All right, things are in the works. I like to speak softly and deliver largely.
That's it. That's it. Walk softly, carry big delivery.
Yep. So stay tuned for that. But I just wanted to give people some, it's to play it during your beard routine. That'd be great. I love it.
Little does anybody know that we actually on our co-branded Dancy, balm stick, when you twist it, the theme song actually plays.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then Nick's custom one, it actually is like a bald eagle noise. And when he twists his, or like Jill's customs, like Dunkin' Donuts, like theme song goes up.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. So that's the song, you guys. Now,
Awesome
to more
work.
exciting news. This one on the Nick front of things is tattoo. What's the word? I mean, we did recently have a Friday the 13th.
We did.
What's
We have
going on?
plenty of progress was made on Friday the 13th. I'm feeling much better now. The bruising has gone down.
Oh, good.
Dear goodness. It was like I sent you that one shot, and it was like just a full like circle. But it was it worked out great. So so some of you saw, some of you know, some of you have seen on social media what was it, September, Friday the 13th. I embarked with a friend of mine on a much larger tattoo journey than I thought I was gonna for a Friday the 13th tattoo. And I thought I was signing up for a little, 4-hour project. I ended up signing up for like a 20-something hour project.
Jeez.
And so we started Friday the 13th in September. The next appointment we had on the books was December, Friday the 13th, which was this past Friday. So I went in, and we basically the tattoo is a horror movie mashup. It's a horror movie kind of collage, if you will. And so we had Ash from Evil Dead. We got the Freddy glove. We got we have the Jason mask in the reflection of the chainsaw blade. So and then we of course lots of Deadite stuff happening with Ash and the chainsaw and the shotgun and all the stuff happening there from Evil Dead. So it's a really cool concept. It's a fun one. And Friday we basically finished the chainsaw, the Freddy glove, and unfortunately, and very much not planned, and this is where a great part of the story comes in, the shotgun stock. So do you have the video?
Not the video, but I have this
Here. Okay, that'll do it some justice. Yeah. Okay.
And this is what we're talking about here, guys.
Yep. It's so as we can see, the shotgun handle on the left there goes up goes up in some uncomfortable territory. So well, the funny part is when you can kill that. I'm sitting there staring at my leg. I'm like, oh God, I'm finding all the little spots where I'm like, oh God, we got to fix that. We got to do this. And so what happened when I first got there, I said, all right, I'm good with, working on this, working on that, working on this. We had like a 5-hour session scheduled. And so I was like, but I'm not mentally prepared, I don't think, for the shotgun handle today. So let's just stay away from that. We'll hit it later. And so while he's sitting there going, he's like, man, really would be nice to be able to hit that leather on that holster and hit this handle. I got all these browns out here, and I got my browns are all mixed up, that way we're going to have similar wood grain here. And I'm like, the shotgun stock wasn't made in the same factory as the chainsaw. I don't need to worry about them being the same wood grain. In fact, make them different. I don't care. That's why we're doing it a different day. We're not doing it. And like literally every excuse in the book came out of me of why we're not touching that today. And all of a sudden, I find myself in a very spirited text message exchange with Jill, who anybody knows when they are talking to their wife through text message about things that has to do with your wife's family. Things can get very involved in those text threads.
Concentrated.
Concentrated. There you go. Very focused.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting on the table, and he's working on my leg, and I'm sitting there texting, and then that turns into like, okay, I'm going to lean onto my elbow here and start texting, and then I kind of lean back on my elbow, and I'm sitting there going back and forth. And so we're going back and forth for a little bit, and next thing I know, I look down, and I felt like I was like, ooh, shit. I was like, that's getting sore. And I look down, and there he is, tattooing the shotgun handle.
How far in is he at that point?
So he's like almost halfway through the sheath of the leather and has like the dark brown outline around the whole stock already done.
So some serious progress.
And I look down and I'm like, oh, you sneaky bastard. And he's like, hey, you were distracted. And he's like, I'm good at my job. I know when to take those opportunities. And he's like, and I mean, well, we can't stop now. He's like, I can't match these browns later. Let's just get it done, right? And he's like, I'm like, I don't know, dude. He's like, here. He's like, you hold the back teen, I hold the tattoo machine. When I lift it up, you just spray it, I rub it, we keep going.
Wow.
And he's like, if it's that bad, we just got to treat it like it's that bad. And I'm like, all right. So that's what we did. I just, completely back teened and lidocained my way through the upper thigh portion of that tattoo. And just with his style, it's a real tough area too, because he packs in a lot of color.
Right.
And so the whole area up there around that whole shotgun stock ended up Sunday going completely like yellow, brown, bruised skin all the way around it. Like it looks like I took a couple of riot control bullets like right in the leg.
Wow. He is incredible, though. I mean, I've seen his work with you, with Jill, and then as Jill's pointing out his Instagram here, you see stuff and you're like, how is that possible on that canvas? Like that medium of art, how is he able to create the art and just like the style to it? Like the color, and I'm not just, I don't know him. I've never met him. I have no concept of who he is or anything. It's just incredible. Incredible.
It's nuts. He's one of those, he didn't work well out. It didn't work out well, like in art school, for example. He went to art school, but like they would tell people like, they'll bring in a model and the model would be sitting in the room and they'd be like, draw this model, draw 2 versions or something like that, you know? And he'd be sitting one place, he'd do one around the room and he'd go. And by the time everyone else was finished with one, he would have like 9 different versions of this one model done in a couple different styles. He'd move around the room and she'd be like, this is great, but like none of them are like polished and all the way done. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I got bored with him. He's like, I don't want to look at him that long. He's like, if I needed to polish it up and finish it for somebody as like a finished piece, like I would redo it as a finished piece. He's like, but if I'm sketching a model, he's like, I'm going to make a piece. I'm going to like it. He's like, and then I stop. He's like, I don't want to keep messing with it. Yeah. And he's like, so it's like stuff just comes out of him so effortlessly. And he just sees things differently, and it's like he can just translate it right out of his head onto paper.
That's amazing. And
he's just a naturally talented dude.
I'm glad he chose his powers for good and not evil, because somebody that was similar was Adolf Hitler. He was an artist and drew absolute. Have you ever seen any of his work?
Oh yeah, tons.
Unbelievable.
He's a great artist.
Yeah, mainly architecture and nature, but he really did not like drawing people. And that's what kept him out of going through with the Vienna Art School, is because they wanted him to draw people and he couldn't do it and didn't want to do it. And then went a little bit sideways. Now, Mr. Kane has used his powers for good. And so I'm very, very thankful.
So I wonder if there was ever a dean of admissions at the Vienna Art School that met his decision process and said, we could have been a little more flexible.
Oh, Man, one of my favorite things when I was teaching history is the what ifs. And I would have my students write like papers or make projects about what if. And that would be an example. All right, guys, today I just simply want you to explore what if Hitler got into the Vienna Art School? How different would the world be? What wrinkles, what ripples would we have affected if that happened? Or what if this happened? I love thinking about those like parallel universes with one
Oh,
one person said, no, you're not good enough, and here and change the world forever.
the butterfly effect of those things is insane, and it's like, and then again, like you look at it and you're like, oh man, like if he hadn't taken that course, was that one of those things that would have happened some other way, right?
Yeah,
Like, would someone else have risen out? Would you know what I mean? Like, would some
Probably.
other evil force have arisen from the ashes of that civilization?
Well, I mean, we don't want to go too far down the history route here, but that's so true, right? You look at like even things like in the US when they're like, let's go after the gang leaders. All they did was create a vacuum that multiplied like a hydra, and when you took one gang leader out, it created 3 new ones, And so, yeah, the what ifs, if our goal is raising kids in this country to be critical thinkers and make decisions, it's the what if, not the memorization, that gets them there. Anybody can memorize dates and facts and stuff. That's literally useless.
Oh,
Nobody has any use of the date of Pearl Harbor in here, other than being like, well, I'm smart and I know this stuff. It doesn't matter. But if you can get kids to critically think, like if this happened, and then they start going, oh, that would have happened. What about this one? They're actually using this. There's no roadmap. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. That's how you get kids to critically think.
oh yeah, that's how. Yeah, it is, and
Yeah.
it's how you. That's how you get people just outside of that creativity box. They have to, like, I had someone tell me the other day, that if it's a group of people that I meet up with quite a bit, and one of the guys, after we were going through, I forget what the topic was that everyone was talking about this night, but we were going through some things, and it's like a peer group, and we one of the guys says, what's interesting, he's like, I love when you get on a topic. He's like, I haven't known you that long. He's like, but he's like, you very rarely ever look at like heads or tails of a coin. He's like, you're always looking at the edge of it. He's like, you'll pick it up, heads or tails. Nope, neither. What's the edge look like spinning around? He's like, you're always on the edge of the coin, and I like it. And so it's I think it was, I mean, I'm just one of those, I'm kind of that kind of person naturally, but I think growing up around my mom, who was an artist, the what if scenarios were always very, very encouraged.
Yeah, no, I love that. And here's a crazy one, and a lot of people don't know this history little tidbit here, but it like keeps me up at night. Abraham Lincoln, his son was inches away from dying. He fell when he was a young kid. He fell onto the train tracks. A man jumps on the train tracks, literally grabbing his son as the train goes right by, would have entirely killed Abraham Lincoln's son. The person that jumped on the tracks and saved his son was a guy by the name of Edwin. All right, keep that in mind. Edwin. Edwin's last name, Booth. His brother is John Wilkes Booth, who ends up assassinating Lincoln.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a trip.
You want to talk about a glitch in the Matrix? The brother who saves your son's life, his brother goes and kills you.
That's insane. And then you got to wonder too, right? There was obviously a bunch of like, oh my God, this guy saved my son, like this and this and this, right? Would John Wilcox Booth have had the place in his head that Abraham Lincoln had in his head if his brother hadn't saved his son? Right? Maybe his brother didn't save his brother's son, right? And that's like, he had like this resentment towards Abraham Lincoln that he got something from his brother that he never got. Who knows? Act of kindness could have led to an assassination.
Crazy to think about. And here's like an image of it. His son, again, a young boy. This is Edwin Booth saving him before all this stuff. And it's like, what did that do? And a lot of people don't realize too, on the history front, John Wilkes Booth was one of the biggest celebrities in the world at that time. He was a prolific actor. He was known by pretty much everybody. It wasn't some just random person. And so
that's how he was able to have free reign walking around the theater that night, essentially, right?
Exactly.
He was like a thespian in that theater.
100%. And so I always think about that on those. There's so many little like tidbits in history where it's like, how is that? Like that's crazy.
Yep.
Crazy.
Oh man. I was listening. Speaking of history, before we change topics here,
Yeah.
I have to leave our history topic at least on this. I heard someone was complaining about something the other day, and I heard someone say something to this other person that literally stuck with me. I wrote it down. Like I overheard someone saying it. I was sitting there working on something else, and I wrote it down in my notebook. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you could sit there and think about that kind of stuff all day. He's like, I could too. He's like, but I'll tell you what, I have given up all hope on a better past.
All hope on a better past.
He's given up hope on a better past.
I like
because
that.
What are you doing when you're sitting there talking about how bad things were, or how bad what happened, and what happened to you and all this stuff? Are you trying to change it? Because you're not gonna.
I like that.
Yeah. And if you want to spend your energy on things that are productive and can get things done, the epitome of not that is talking about things that have happened in the past. And so that guy was like, I've given up all hope on a better past. And I'm like, man, imagine the time I would have saved in life had I realized that theory a long time ago.
And even outside of just the worrying about it, how many people spend time trying to spin the past and twist the way that it actually happened rather than moving forward?
It.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a good one.
All right. Nick doesn't know this topic, but I got a little scrolly topic at the bottom. Just a reminder for you guys. We briefly talked about this personally, but we have not brought it up here. Nick didn't ask me to bring it up, but I get unique feedback, right? I'm kind of a middleman between companies like Dr. Nick's and the community, where oftentimes they don't even come to the company with feedback, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, but they stop halfway with like a trusted spot like me. The amount of feedback that I've received in the last 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, probably about since the Command's Corner orders have gone through, about two things in particular. Now, we hear about so many things. I just did a video about why companies drop scents and explain the reasoning. One of the most resounding comments was, my life's fine as long as peppermint rosemary never goes away. I was like, okay. It's literally in the comments. You can check it out. But so I hear about that stuff. But what I have not had my inbox stop ringing about is this season, particularly of peppermint bark, and then the beard butter, which has always been a favorite, but people swear that there's some kind of extra magic in this latest batch. Even people that have been using this for years are like, I don't know how, but something is better. And the peppermint bark, people are insane. I had another company owner messaged me yesterday about the peppermint bark, and they were like, I'm obsessed. I don't know how they do it. It's been 7 nights in a row that I've used peppermint bark in my beard. And that's a company owner. So what the heck? We have not discussed this. What is going on?
Oh, there is a special kind of just magic happening. You said it. So there's two topics here. One, peppermint bark. And I think, oddly enough, both explanations have a very, very, or I think both things that we're talking about here actually have two very similar explanations, which I think they're both maturing. And so, not changing, right? It's like when you hear like
You're
our
not
beard
the same
butter
anymore.
Oh dear God. But it's like when you hear like a savant of like a piano player, and you hear him when he's 12, and then you hear him again when he's like 14, and then you hear him again in like music school, and you're like, his level of talent hasn't really changed, right? Because he started off like ungodly talented, but then like it's just gotten more polished, it's gotten more confident, he's gotten more of a gestalt about him, you know what I mean? Time's the only difference, and she's right. And so like, when I mean mature, I mean that the process, like for butter, the process that we have now landed on, that Jill has perfected and we're talking from blending, emulsifying, all the way down through the very, very involved curing process. I think like that process, the process has matured. And then for peppermint bark, you look at this guy, when I say matured, it has a similar explanation, but it may be a different reason. The process here has not changed, but the time that it steeps, the way that she opens up those oils before blending them and then letting them sit with the carriers after they're blended, the amount of time that the essential oils sit blended before they go into the oil, and then while they're steeping before they go into a smaller bottle with less surface area, those 3 phases of that scent profile dictates a whole lot about what it smells like once it's in the bottle. And I think, what gets me on this one is the heat brush interaction. Like when you use a heat brush on this peppermint bark, man, like your neighbors are going to come over asking you like what you're baking and if they can have some, because it's like just the most natural, good smelling cocoa, peppermint, chocolate, cacao smell that you're ever going to get. And the fact that she's able to get the creaminess out of it, like what you would actually get in like a peppermint hot cocoa mixed with like that sharpness of what you'd get from the chocolate in like a peppermint bark. It's like the creaminess of it mixed with the chocolate of it. I don't know. It's like I say, the ratios haven't changed. Nothing about the formula has changed. It's just the time in between each step.
That's beautiful, because it's just been absurd. I had to bring it up, and people have just been going crazy.
Yeah,
And
me included.
right now, big day for me too, right, with Maddox and everything. So that's important. I have Yule Tree in. So I'm still a sliver on Team Yule Tree. I just love that freshness and the kind of effervescent like pine aspect to it. But that peppermint bark, the key that you said there is natural.
Yeah.
It just smells natural. It seems like it should be heavy, right? Hot chocolate, peppermint, but it's light, it's refreshing, it's natural.
It's so good. And you know what gets me? So I'm totally cheating today. And it's not fair. And I'm going to tell you guys something that's going to make everyone jealous, and I can't do anything about it. And I'm sorry. And I'm sorry, not sorry, to be honest. I have in today a very special edition of peppermint bark that is the bottom of one of the containers where it was steeping that has not been filtered all the way. So it has a ton of the cacao sediment floating in it. You almost can't see through the oil. Like if you shake it, it's so particleized and cloudy that you can't even really see through it. So I have like little bits of cacao sitting here like just all over the place in my beard right now. It feels fantastic. And I will say that I put it in at 6:00 this morning, and it is still rocking very, very strong.
And cacao naturally is fantastic for skin and hair. They even do like cacao masks for women and stuff like that. It's awesome.
I got it right on the skin. I was like, I go like 2 pipettes in my palm, and then right at the end, I'm like quarter, like an eighth and an eighth, like a quarter of a pipette, like between just like right here in the fangs.
Trouble area.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. All right. So I had to address that. Now, next thing, guys, and this is with entire sincerity. You guys know us. We don't have to bend or fake anything. Entire sincerity here, because Nick and I want to get your guys' feedback so we can understand better. Honestly.
Oh, please help.
Yes, please help us just understand. So here's the deal. 'Tis the season for crazy package deliveries. Just assume if you order and there's an expected delivery date, it's likely going to be a couple of days after that. That is just how USPS, FedEx, UPS, all of them. UPS is usually the best, but even they have been slow this season because I think every year the volume increases and they're just not quite fully able to handle it. And so the amount of people reaching out to me and the amount of people reaching out to Dr. Nix about their packages, which they have the tracking, it's still going, but it's late. I don't think people can possibly comprehend how many emails come in, how many messages come in, again, to content creator, to companies, and people essentially just saying like, hey, my package was expected to be delivered on Saturday. It's Monday and it's not here yet. And the tracking doesn't say delivered. The tracking doesn't say lost. It's like in transit, moving from location to location. But people just simply reach out and they just say that. They simply say, hey, my package was supposed to be here on Saturday. It's not here yet. And they just leave the email kind of like that, or they leave the message to me like that. And Nick and I were talking, and we're like, sincerely, and this is our question for you guys, what are people looking for in that situation? Are they wanting something like like a replacement or a refund? Are they just venting and want to get it out? Are they just wanting to make sure the company's aware of it? What is the actual intention of that email? And when I asked Nick this question, he said, I don't know. He goes, I would love to be able to give whatever they're looking for, though. Like, Nick, that was his first thing he said, just so you guys know behind the scenes. He's like, I would love to be able to give them what they would like, but what are they? What
I
are
just
they
don't know what it
looking
is.
for? And
No, and like,
and
and here's the thing, like, I've never done that. So
Me
like, I guess here's where my big disconnect goes. I have two questions, and this is literally just like a throw it out to the let's ask our customers to teach us about our customers, just like how you guys write
Yeah.
all of our marketing language. You know, help us with this one. So whenever I order something and it gets late, right? My first thing to do is if I'm gonna reach out to anybody, it's to the carrier. My first thing ever is I reach out and it says like, hey, your package is delayed. And then if it says it again the next day and it's just sitting in like one location, tracking's not moving, it's sitting there. They've acknowledged that, hey, we told you it's going to be here on the 16th, and now we're saying it's the 19th. You know, if that happens and it doesn't move, I email the carrier or I call the carrier and I'm like, hey, what's going on with this thing? Can you guys open a ticket on it so you can ping it and get it to go out of whatever distribution center it's in? Yada, 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 right? Whatever I might be trying to do to get this damn thing to move. And then if they end up saying, like, we really don't know, like, we can't locate it, it's lost, this and this and this, then my next move is to still not email the company. At that point, I'm going to the carrier and saying, great, what are you guys going to do about it? And they're like,
Yeah.
well, you know, it wasn't insured and this and this and this and whatever, right? So let's just say, for example, the carrier ends up telling me to go take a long walk down a short pier.
which
You know,
happens.
one way or another. Listen, people tell me that every day. Have you seen this face? And then so what else? Then I'll end up taking, hey, can you guys send me that in an email? Thanks. I'll take that email, open a ticket, or send an email to whoever I purchased something from. And I said, hey, I ordered something from you. Original date was supposed to be the 16th. It got updated to the 17th, then the 18th, now the 19th. Here we are at the 20th. I have this email from the carrier. They say they can't find it, they can't locate it, and you guys, as the shipper, can open up a case with them to use your shipping coverage. I can't. How can we resolve this? Do you want me to place a new order? You can issue me a refund. Like, how do we want to do it, right? And because I know they're going to get taken care of. I know that's why I involve the company, though, right?
Right.
It's like my first reaction is carrier, right? If it's USPS, UPS, that's the common problem that I have across when I order things are those people, not the people I order them from. And so when we get people reaching out to us saying, hey, it said it was going to get delivered on the 16th, it never came in, but that's it. Like, I don't know if they're like, hey, keeping you in the loop, or if it's like, hey, I want to start making a paper trail, or if like, but what I really think sometimes based on the tone is I truly sometimes think that people assume that we can do something about it, right? And that's where I'm trying to get to, because if we could do something about it, I would do it. And honestly, if people come back and say, I think everyone's looking for this, right? If it's
Right.
something we can do, like, hell, we'll handle those differently. But if it's the carrier and people reach out, yeah, like Dan said, we just don't really know what the goal is, I guess.
All right, let's hit some of your guys' feedback here and get some perspective from you. And this is genuinely why we wanted to do this. We wanted to hear from you guys. So G Squared said, I think it's innocent venting. Not that I feel like I've done this to you too, but I mean, it's probably like when I asked my wife a question that didn't need to be asked. It was easier. And we said that. We were like, is it just venting and just people, they don't know where to tell, so they just got to get it off their chest? If that's the case, me and Nick were like, hey, we're here. We'll insert head nod. We'll insert, we hear you. We understand. You're seen. Like, very, very fair, right? We're fixers. Nick and I are dudes. When there's problems, we like to fix it. And I'm sure Nick is similar to me, where our wives will vent some of their problems and we go to fixing, where sometimes they're like, no, I just want to tell you my problem. And it's like, okay.
No fix.
Got it. No fix.
No fix.
Got it. Okay. JB says, and we remember we talked about this one on the stream. He actually prompted like the shipping, like, hey guys, no, that's going to be crazy here. He said his went on a crazy journey, essentially like went from Massachusetts down to Florida, back to MA, back down to Florida. He said, my main concern was seeing if they got returned because it seemed to go back to them, but then came back my way. And that makes sense. If you're
listen,
yeah,
that is a total reasonable form of communication on that. Hey, this thing's going all over the place. I know it's their problem, but hey, in case it comes back to you guys, just know that it's, I saw it coming. Right.
And that's his
Dude,
only tone. Yep.
Yeah, no. And we get that all the damn time. And we love that. Like, keep us in the loop. Let us know what's up. Like that's
team.
and also we're friends, right? So we like giggling about that stuff with you. Like when you sent us this thing and it looked like a damn, someone tracking down a serial killer all over the country with like their maps of people's travel. Like, I mean, it's annoying, but at the same time, we all got to laugh at stuff, right? So like when we get that kind of stuff, I giggle. We're in the game together. We do the over the email respect knuckles, and then we wait to see what happens.
Yeah. And Zach, I do think when I read the tone of some of these messages, or if I see an email that's shared, I do think that there is some of this. Probably not you guys in here, but Zach says, I would guess as an explanation to why it wasn't delivered. I do think a lot of people reach out to the company and they're either not aware of it or how stuff works, or they're just in a bad mindset. But I do feel like people reach out to the beard product company, for example, for an explanation of why their package wasn't delivered. And then Zach says, although I have no idea why you would expect Dr. Nix or Dan to answer that, I think they just don't know where to go. And they're like, we bought it from you. It's your responsibility. It gets here. And there's partial truth to that. I mean, there's a little bit in that. So, yeah, interesting. And then Dennis says his buddy who lives in Plymouth got a package and went to Connecticut, then came to Massachusetts. Yeah, the routes just don't make sense sometimes. Yeah,
Dude, it's so crazy. And that's why, like, the USPS thing, I swear.
Oh yeah,
mom, my son giggles.
Yeah, hold on the USPS thoughts. I got something in the works for
goodness.
that. So yeah, hold on that. I got you. And then Moose says the only reason a beard company would be at fault is if they took forever to ship. Right, and this is again when they have tracking, they see the updates, and all right, here's a big one. Greg says, I've contacted carriers before and was told the shipper was the one that needed to contact them. So with USPS, kind of, yeah. On the UPS side, though, as the person who's receiving the package, when you have your tracking, there is a little button at the bottom of your tracking that says make or file a claim. And is it $100, Nick, that it's insured up to with UPS?
Automatically, I think it's 100, depending on the service level. I think overnight's up to 500 or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. But with that said, saying the shipping carrier is sending back to the company, I do need to show something really quick because I think this does go to show the state of USPS. And this is not a knock on any mailmen, any postal workers. This is the system, and to not even get political at all, but kind of the government workings of it. The U.S. Postmaster General, the person that is in charge of UPS, he has had congressional hearings for the last couple of weeks, or he was in the last couple of weeks. I would like you to see this man. And again, you can look his name up. You can do all this stuff. This is the Postmaster General of the head of all of the U.S. Postal Service. Do you know what's going on in this picture here, Nick?
I mean, it looks like a grown-ass man covering his ears while on camera on C-SPAN.
Yeah, and it's at a point where a representative, a U.S. congressman, is explaining to this U.S. postmaster on how the experience is dealing with USPS and how their shortcomings are affecting the American citizens. This man literally did the na in Congress. In Congress. He covered his ears. I've watched the whole thing, and this is as Congress is telling him how much of a dumpster fire the operation is right now and how terrible it is. It's been going, and he covered his ears. So when you hear things like, I contacted them and they told me to contact the company, Greg, I believe you because this is who's in charge.
Yeah, dude. That's it. I mean, like with UPS, FedEx, they're all really good. Now there are certain things that like, so the only person that can file a current claim for the refund of shipping charges is the shipper, and that's true across UPS, FedEx, USPS, whoever, right?
Yeah.
Now, the where is my stuff? You said it was delivered, and I go to my mailbox, it's not there, and there's no picture of the delivery. Get a hold of the delivery driver and tell me where my stuff is. That is a you question, right? That's something that that is a customer question. Actually, as the shipper, we only have certain reach into that. Like if we get called by the local depot, they can't provide us any information about the property where it was delivered, anything they interacted with, anybody's names. Like all of that is obfuscated from our line of sight. So what you can, as the receiver though, right? Like you can with UPS or USPS, if it says delivered and it's not there, you can call there, you can Google it. Of course, US Postmaster General, they're doing their job. You can't ever get a local number for your post office unless you Google Marshfield, Massachusetts USPS local number. And if you do that, you go to these websites, they have every local number for every post office in the country. And you can call their direct local number with your own local area code. Usually not even an auto response message. It's usually just a live person just picks up inside the post office. And you can tell them to call your driver on their cell phone and tell you where they left a package.
Yep.
Like it's, you can do all kinds of stuff as the receiver. And I think a lot of the times, maybe the question to the carrier isn't right. Like, hey, this thing's late. Are you going to refund my shipping? Because people, I think that like if they ask the carrier for a refund of shipping and the carrier refunds us, that they automatically get a refund of their shipping costs or something. I think maybe that is where some of it comes from.
Yeah.
Or maybe they want us to open a claim to get the shipping charges reversed and then therefore refund their shipping. Not that we don't want to do that, but unless it's automated by part of a canceled order or something like that, we just wouldn't be able to do that. It wouldn't be feasible.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, it's just, you got to pressure them sometimes, right? Like we are their customers. We are their customers. You are their customers. Like we are both using someone's service. So either one of us should be treated as if we are a customer of a paid service when we interact with these people, and we're not.
Should be. Yeah. I mean,
have you ever felt as if you were dealing with someone that you paid to do something?
You're crazy. You're crazy.
At the post office? Like,
no.
Has anyone?
No. It's the farthest opposite of that you could ever imagine. I feel like the greatest
farthest away.
I feel like the greatest burden and nuisance and idiot when I deal with any situation like that, dude. I had to try to get a package at our Airbnb in Florida, and it was turned around because whatever reason. You would have thought I was the most like low life, like, and to be fair, G Squared says this is why they come to us. That's actually good perspective to hear. And G Squared says, think about your experience with USPS. Think about, okay, hey, I did not actually consider it fully that way. That's why we wanted to ask.
This is why we ask these questions, to get perspective. Fair. So like, let's follow that one down for a second.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point, G Squared. Like if I'm sitting there, I actually don't buy many things from places that like I have a super close relationship to, like we have with you guys. Right. So maybe there's a couple. And if I think about it, crap. If I order from someone who I'm really close to, like I know the person I'm ordering from, for example, and the carrier screws that up, I might actually text my buddy first and be like, hey, USPS is doing you guys a solid once again. It's gone all the way over to California before it got to me from New York. So hold on a minute.
You're right.
We're getting somewhere here.
You're right.
So G Square, once again, coming in with the wisdom to clear out the fog.
You're right.
And so I actually think this when people reach out to us like that instead of the carrier first, maybe that's like a huge compliment more than it is like someone just not knowing the process, or maybe as opposed to them expecting something unreasonable from us. Like maybe they're letting us know, like, from their perspective, like they're on our side, like, the carriers are screwing up the process again, like, in case you want to go chase them down and kick their ass, like, here's their info.
And it's just a level of comfort. It's a level of transparency, and that we don't do this because we don't feel that close with a lot of the company owners and employees that we're purchasing from. But because of streams like this and Commands Corner and social media and meeting people at like beard competitions and stuff, they just feel like they're messaging their buddy and giving a heads up.
That's actually a really good point. Because like I would rather email someone I know versus emailing someone I don't if I have a problem
100%.
about something, for sure. And I'm not even thinking, and actually, now that you mentioned that, I think about the times that I have done that and probably accidentally gave one of my friends something to do because they didn't want to tell me that it was my problem. Go chase it down. They probably went and looked at it for me, emailed me back and said, "Hey, I opened you a ticket for it. No problem. They're going to be sending it back. It's going to be 2 days late." Like, wow. Yeah, that's actually really good perspective. I think it's maybe it's more of a compliment to how people feel close to us as a company versus to their shipping carriers.
I literally G squared. That was not in our discussion. That wasn't in our thinking, but we knew you guys would have something for us. That's why we wanted to ask.
Very interesting. G squared coming in with the perspective as always.
Yeah. And Jason said, I did that in the past for sure. I sent you the tracking, not as a where's my package, but dude, UPS got you again. Look at this track. That makes entire sense.
And Jason, I literally remember when you've done that. I know exactly what you're talking about there too, because I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, dude, USPS got you again. You got it. Those bastards. Yeah. I remember that.
Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate that.
We're living, we're growing.
That helps settle, because there are some days where it's like, is there a full moon? Is there something crazy with 26 emails about this and messages about that? And that actually helps. And it's like, Dan and Nick, this is the bed you made. Dan and Nick, this is the lifestyle brand, the family, the friendship, the fans that you created. That's a byproduct of it.
Let's go on the total extreme side of this. My mom, who's in this stream, let's say she ordered something on here. Would I actually even be happy or okay with the fact that if my mom ordered something and then I see her or I talk to her like a couple of weeks later and she's like, "Oh, I finally got that the thing that I ordered back at the end of October from you guys. Geez, it's been like 6 tickets with USPS and this and that." And I had never heard about it. I've been like, "Mom, send me a text. I'll send you a new one. No, you take that one when it comes in. You don't wait a month for something to get lost. Text me." So like I almost think at that point, like on the extreme side of it, if it was my mom or my brother or something like that, if they didn't let me know and handled it just with the carrier, I might be like, "Well, if friends and family think I'm too busy to help them with the package they ordered, like what the heck? Reach out, let me know."
I just had like an epiphany here, an awakening. So Nick and I have always, as friends, as people who work together in business, and just as like grown men humans, we've taken pride that we're always on the same page. Literally, no matter what it is, if there's a problem presented to us, we take it as a challenge to turn that into a positive, to turn that into a strength. We've always done that. And I'm starting to think, is oftentimes the way and the ability that we're able to do that because of the well-balanced perspective of you guys, that we have such a large net of influence of people like giving us little tidbits every day. Is it something like that? Because this one, we didn't know. We genuinely did not know. We were not leaning one way or another of why all these people keep reaching out about these things. You guys gave more feedback, more tidbits, and this is quite literally something that maybe, not saying us, but in similar worlds, maybe all those emails could be taken as a negative or something that's a problem, but you guys are giving us that information to help us twist it into a positive. Is our ability to do that our sample size and the people we surround ourselves with?
I mean, guaranteed it has a lot to do with it.
Has to be, right?
We're constantly being fed a lot of the same information and a lot of the same vibes by a lot of the same people, That's got to have a big chunk to do with it.
Interesting. That comfortability of reaching out to us in ways that we would not reach out to other companies. That was our lens. Nick and I were like, we
That
don't do
was.
this. We're not reaching out to companies.
I was like, do you do this?
Yeah, it's because
No.
they're comfortable. That's crazy. That's like a full mind switch.
Oh, that's like paradigm shift and stuff right there. Jill, you gotta be ready when I come home. It's gonna be like esoteric self-discovery happening here in my head today. This is
he
a growth
left as
moment.
he left as Prince Siddhartha, entered home as Buddha. So
That's right. I did.
Wow.
I'm gonna come back very here, very now.
Wow. Okay. I appreciate that.
Hmm.
Wow. Okay, guys. Believe it or not, that's essentially the wrapping up of our breakfast today.
That's it, dude.
Yeah.
Now, next week, bring your cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
And bring your eggnog, bring your footy pajamas. Okay. We're gonna do, maybe no pictures of the footy pajama. I don't know. So maybe that's not for you. Maybe that's a
you
you
charge
thing.
for that.
Yeah. Maybe that's just a personal decision that day.
Yeah.
And so, what's it gonna be here though? We're gonna be the 24th. It's gonna be Christmas Eve. When, like Dan said, through sickness and health, just like anything else that we're committed to here in life.
Commitment.
That's it. We're gonna it's gonna be 10 a.m. We're gonna be having our Christmas Eve. Maybe there's gonna be some early Christmas presents. There could be, like, maybe someone on the stream is gonna get to open like one early Christmas present. Like,
that'd be cool.
Maybe one person there is gonna get to do it. And we have we actually, there will be a surprise next week on the 24th. So not only will there be like a little gift to the beard community as a whole with something happening on the 24th, but I think there also we could turn it into something where maybe people get to feel like they're opening a couple extra early presents.
Oh my gosh, I can read between the lines.
Let's have some fun.
Yeah, I can read between the lines. And yeah, again, guys, 10 a.m. You can check out if you're traveling. We know people will be all over the country, all over the world. But if you can check out the replay, drop a comment. If you want to join us live, Jill's gonna have her Christmas sweater on. Come on now.
And come on.
Yeah.
I'll have mine on too. It's so relevant now too. The one that I have is literally sold out everywhere this year, and I have had it for like 5 years. It's like the Mike Tyson one that says, "I'm going to wish you a Merry Christmas."
Oh my Christmas. More popular than ever now.
Oh, I know. It's like sold out everywhere. And I'm like, no one even got this when I bought it 2 years ago. Like, my Jack was like, who's the dude with the face tattoo? And now he's like, oh, it's Mike Tyson. And I'm like, oh God, you're 12.
Face tattoo on the front, just butt cheeks on the back.
Oh, that's the new one. That's the new Christmas sweater. Who's coming out with that one?
That's the new one. Jill, make it happen.
Cricket.
Work some magic, Jill. Cheeks, get them.
She's gonna be going into Michael's. Do you have Mike Tyson butt cheek brown?
Yeah. Actually, it's very popular this year. Yes.
Yeah, it's a good. That's actually the Sherwin-Williams color of the year.
Yeah. That's stupid. All right, guys, man. Thank
more
you.
style guide coming at you.
Brunch, breakfast, lunch, whatever you guys have. This was enjoyable. Didn't feel any different to me. Just amazing. And sincerely, thank you guys for the perspective, the positive feedback, the encouragement, all the above. Just a reminder, Yule Tree and Peppermint Bark are seasonal. They're going to be around for what, Nick, a month or so more? 2 maybe?
Until they gone.
So just something to consider there. They're addicting and amazing. Tread lightly on them. But thank you guys for all the love and positive vibes towards Maddox today. Safe travels to anybody traveling over the next week, especially when you're going to visit family. Travel safely. Nothing's worth not getting there to where you need to be safely. Other than that, that's all I got. Nick, final words for our actual friends in the chat.
That's it, man. I mean, thanks for the advice. Thanks for the growth moments. Thanks for expanding our understanding of the world and the universe and everything in it, like usual. So, no, this is awesome. I love I love what we're doing this week. I love what we're doing next week. And it's going to be the same day. It's going to be episode 121, and like literally now, multiple Christmases, multiple birthdays, sicknesses, all sorts of stuff, and here it is, man, just like clockwork. And you can count. If there's one thing in this crazy world you can count on, it's doctor's orders happening on a Tuesday.
That's right.
All right. So we will see you guys next week. On that note, have a great wrapping up for Christmas. Arrive alive wherever you're going. Don't do anything stupid and stay amazing.
All right, guys. 10 a.m.